If you don't take control of your inner world, the outer world will control you. Most people spend their entire lives trying to rearrange external circumstances, money, status, relationships, without realizing that the quality of their life is determined internally first. Your thoughts, emotions, and physical state quietly shape every decision you make. That's why working on your inner world is not optional. It is the foundation everything else stands on. Start with the mind. A noisy mind is an expensive mind. When your head is filled with endless opinions, news, and comparisons, you lose the ability to think clearly. Clarity doesn't come from consuming more information. It comes from removing what doesn't matter. Make time to sit in silence, think without distraction, question your own assumptions. The ability to think independently is a superpower, and it only develops when you stop letting the world think for you. Your physical health is deeply tied to your mental clarity. A tired body creates a tired mind. When you neglect sleep, movement, and nutrition, even small problems feel overwhelming. You don't need extreme routines or perfect discipline. You need consistency. Walk every day, eat simply, sleep like your life depends on it, because it does. A healthy body gives you energy, and energy gives you options. Without energy, motivation is meaningless. Emotional control is the next layer. Most people believe their emotions are their identity. They are not. Emotions are signals, not commands. Anger, fear, jealousy, and anxiety arise automatically, but suffering comes from acting on them unconsciously. Learn to pause. Observe what you're feeling without judgment. The moment you can watch an emotion instead of obeying it, you regain control. This skill alone can save you years of regret. Self-awareness ties everything together. You can't improve what you don't notice. Pay attention to your patterns. Notice when you procrastinate, when you react defensively, when you seek validation. These habits quietly shape your future. Awareness is not about self-criticism, it's about honesty. When you see yourself clearly, change becomes natural instead of forced. Your inner world also defines how you experience success. Without inner stability, more money brings more anxiety. More attention brings more pressure. More choices bring more confusion. People think external achievements will calm them down, but the opposite often happens. Peace must come first. When your inner world is steady, external success becomes easier to handle and more enjoyable. Working on your inner world every day doesn't require hours of effort. It requires intention, a few minutes of reflection, a short walk, a conscious breath before reacting. These small acts compound quietly. Over time, you become less reactive, more grounded, and more clear-headed. Life doesn't become easier, but you become stronger. In the end, your inner world is the only place you truly live. Everything else is temporary. If you build a calm, healthy, and aware inner foundation, you can face uncertainty with confidence, and when the world changes, as it always does, you won't need to escape it, you'll be ready to meet it. Most people believe that working harder is the path to success. They focus on effort, long hours, and staying busy, but effort alone has diminishing returns. If your output is tied directly to your time, your growth will always be limited. True progress comes from leverage, the ability to multiply the impact of your actions without multiplying your effort. Working on your leverage is how you create value in the modern world. Leverage begins with specific knowledge. This is knowledge that feels natural to you, something you're genuinely curious about, something you would pursue even if no one paid you for it. It can't be easily taught in a classroom because it's built through experience, obsession, and long-term curiosity. When you combine your natural interests with useful skills, you develop an edge that's difficult to copy. That edge is where real value is created. Specific knowledge compounds over time. Every hour spent refining it increases your effectiveness in the future. Unlike generic skills, it doesn't get replaced easily. The world rewards people who know something rare and useful and can apply it creatively. Chasing trends might feel productive, but building depth in one direction creates long-term leverage. Once you have knowledge, you need output. Ideas in your head are worthless. Value is created when ideas are expressed, shared, and built into reality. Write your thoughts, build products, teach what you know. The internet has removed gatekeepers, which means your work can reach people while you sleep. Output turns knowledge into assets, and assets work for you long after the effort is done. Most people consume far more than they create. They scroll, watch, and absorb endlessly, mistaking information for progress. Creation is uncomfortable. It exposes your thinking and invites judgment, but this discomfort is the price of leverage. The more you create, the clearer your thinking becomes, and the more opportunities find you. Long-term thinking is what protects your leverage. Short-term rewards are tempting, but they often destroy future value. Quick wins usually come with hidden costs. When you think in decades instead of days, your decisions change. You invest in skills instead of shortcuts. You build reputation instead of chasing attention. You choose sustainable paths over explosive but fragile ones. Leverage works best when combined with patience. Compounding requires time. Whether it's skill, audience, capital, or trust, growth accelerates slowly at first and then all at once. Most people quit during the slow phase because they mistake lack of immediate results for failure. Those who understand leverage stay consistent, knowing the payoff is delayed but inevitable. Technology has made leverage more accessible than ever. Code, media, and networks allow a single person to create value for millions. But tools alone are not enough. Without judgment, direction, and taste, leverage is wasted. The goal is not to do more things, but to do fewer things that matter more. Working on your leverage every day doesn't mean hustling nonstop. It means asking better questions. Is what I'm doing scalable? Will this effort still pay off in 5 years? Am I building something that grows without me? When you focus on leverage, your work becomes lighter, not heavier. In the end, leverage is not about domination or control. It's about alignment. When your skills, interests, and long-term goals point in the same direction, small actions produce outsized results. That's how value is created quietly, sustainably, and on your own terms. Most people say they want success, but what they're really chasing is freedom. Freedom from anxiety, freedom from obligation, freedom to choose how they spend their time and who they spend it with. Money, status, and recognition are often just substitutes for this deeper desire. When you understand that freedom is the real goal, your priorities begin to shift. Freedom starts with time. Time is the only resource you can't replace or multiply. Yet it's the one people give away most carelessly. Every unnecessary commitment, every mindless distraction, every obligation accepted out of fear slowly erodes your autonomy. Protecting your time isn't selfish, it's essential. When you control your schedule, you control your life. Without time freedom, no amount of money will ever feel like enough. To gain time freedom, you must learn to say no. This is uncomfortable because it risks disappointing others, but every yes carries a hidden cost. Saying yes to what doesn't matter takes time away from what does. The most successful and peaceful people are not the busiest. They are the most selective. They design their lives around what they value, not around other people's expectations. Freedom also depends on your relationships. The people around you can either expand your freedom or quietly shrink it. Relationships filled with drama, manipulation, or constant conflict consume mental and emotional energy. Peaceful relationships, on the other hand, create space for growth. Choose people who respect your boundaries, encourage your independence, and don't require you to perform to earn their approval. Your environment shapes your behavior more than willpower ever will. Financial freedom is part of the picture, but it's often misunderstood. It's not about luxury or excess. It's about having enough to remove fear from your decisions. When you are not desperate for money, you can walk away from bad deals, unhealthy workplaces, and misaligned opportunities. The goal is not to be rich, it's to be unforced. The ability to choose is the real wealth. True freedom also requires internal freedom. If your mind is constantly chasing approval, validation, or comparison, you are never free, no matter how successful you appear. Desire is endless. The more you feed it, the louder it gets. Learning to be content with less quietens the mind and creates space. Contentment is not complacency, it's independence from craving. When you want less, you are harder to control. Freedom is deeply connected to simplicity. Complex lives create invisible chains. Too many possessions, too many commitments, too many identities all demand maintenance. Simplicity reduces friction. When your life is simple, decisions become easier and stress naturally declines. You don't need to escape the world, you need to reduce the noise. Working on your freedom every day doesn't mean abandoning responsibility. It means choosing responsibility consciously. It means building systems that support your values instead of trapping you. Small actions compound here too. Saving more than you spend, protecting your mornings, limiting digital distractions, and prioritizing health and peace over appearances. In the end, freedom is not something you achieve once and keep forever. It's a daily practice, a series of choices that move you closer to autonomy or further away from it. When freedom becomes your guiding principle, success becomes lighter, life becomes clearer, and happiness stops feeling like a moving target.